Good evening, everyone. Today is April 20th, and we have a very important update for the Keep Our Parks and Rec Cape Coral group. Normally, I don't like to read from notes, but I think it's important here that we get a lot of information out to the public and that you help us spread this information. There are 4 things I want to talk about. Where does the developer's application stand, and what is the next move? And that's going to be critical here. The second thing is, where do we stand with those who make the ultimate decision, the politicians? The third thing I want to talk about is what we can do right now to stay engaged. And the final thing that I want to talk about today is what happens when the developer, and I say when, they bring it back. So we learned just today that, incredibly, the developer plans to bring it back despite the political battle that we believe has already taken place. They plan to bring it back with a reduction of a few hundred units potentially. The original plan was 653 rental apartment units with concrete jungle right here behind us. We'll look for this in the next month or so, and we will be ready to mobilize when we get the Planning and Zoning Commission 10-day notice. It is very important that we are ready to go when we have that notification. Our position will never change. It will be that this remains Keep Our Parks and Rec land use forever, and we will not compromise on that issue. Where do we stand with those who make the ultimate decision? This is very important, because this is why we believe it's incredible that they plan to bring this back here within the next month or so. We know that we have the commitment from enough city council members to prevent the land use change here, which would ultimately obviously deny a change to multifamily. I want to talk specifically about all 8 specific council members and the mayor. Robert Welsh. Councilman Welsh has stated in direct terms that he will not support a land use change. He will, quote, be against any sort of change on this zoning, end quote. He said it from the dais at the April 5th City Council meeting when we showed up with hundreds of supporters when this was not even an agenda item. Mayor Gunter. While he stated from the dais on April 5th that all applicants are entitled to follow the zoning process, he made it clear that, quote, on the face of it, he does not support it. He also said that if you look at these multifamily projects throughout the city, they're on main thoroughfares, and that this one is not a good fit. We know that Mayor Gunter supports our position. Tom Hayden. Tom Hayden has assured me that he will not change his position and will support keeping the Parks and Recreation land use for this property. Dan Shepard. Dan Shepard said, I can quote him, he is quoted as saying, quote, he is working on helping us keep it Parks and Rec and a golf course, and he supports our position. Patty Cummings. Patty Cummings told me that numerous people who showed up at the Parks and Recreation Advisory Board meeting only this week, this past Monday, that she is on our side in no uncertain terms. She also told me that I can quote her as supporting our position, and she believes the people of our city have spoken loudly and clearly already on this issue. Keith Long. Keith Long understands our position and he wants what is best for our community. He is on the record in email back to constituents stating, quote, if a similar proposal for multifamily housing of similar magnitude was brought forth before council, I can tell you I will personally vote against such a request. While we don't love the word, quote, magnitude, our position as a citywide organization will always be that there is no acceptable change from Parks and Rec land use for this property. Bill Steinke. Bill Steinke understands our position, he has heard our voice, and he wants what is best for our community. We don't have a quote from him to share today. Jessica Cosden. We have not heard back from Jessica Cosden, but hope to hear from her soon, and we appreciate all she has done for our community over the past several years. We know she's a supporter of environmental concerns for sure. Please continue to email all of those folks. You can find it on our Facebook page, on our website, keepourparksandrec.com. Make sure that they have heard you, if they have not already heard you, that we need to keep this land use Parks and Rec. We need hundreds and hundreds and hundreds, if not thousands, of emails. The third thing I want to talk about is, what can we do now? We need to stay engaged. We have to stay engaged. This is very important that we continue to grow our numbers during this lull right now when there's not a lot happening publicly. A PDF of an updated petition will be posted on our Facebook page if it's not already posted by the time this video is up. Please help get the word out and take signs everywhere. We have signs that say, keep our parks and rec. Please help take those signs and let it tell the story. If you go to a local grocery store or a park or wherever it is there's a flow of people, we can use all the help we can get. Print off of our Facebook page the new PDF that does say the updated petition now references that this, quote, we will deny this request or any request to amend the future land use plan, being parks and recreation, for this property. If you've already signed a petition, there's no need to sign the new petition. It achieves the same end. But if people that you know have not already signed the petition, please make sure that they sign the petition and help us get those petitions signed. Take one of the yard signs with you. All you have to do is say to folks, hey, do you support keeping Parks and Recreation green space? If they do, they'll sign it right there, and then you can tell them the story of what's happening here. But there's no need to go into a long explanation of what's happening. You can take one of those green yard signs with you and do that anytime. The next thing that I want to mention is that we want you to join a committee. Reach out on our Facebook page or via email. Our email address is keepourparksandrec@yahoo.com, keepourparksandrec@yahoo.com, as we organize even further and create more refined committees for work that is happening all the time behind the scenes. We'll order more yard signs, at least 100 more. They're $10 each. We still have a few. If you need one, please let us know. Visibility really, really matters. And finally, what happens when the developer brings this back? And we do have on good authority now, based on private meetings and conversations, that unbelievably, they plan to bring this thing back. What happens when they do? We'll be ready in a much larger voice than we already are. We'll have another information meeting with several hundred people in attendance, if not more than 1,000 from across the city. And we will pack the house at City Council once we know the dates that matter for planning and zoning. And ultimately, if it goes to a vote before City Council, we will bring with us several hundred, if not more than 1,000 supporters in person to the City Council chambers to make sure that this is a definitive and decisive 8-0 vote. Follow us on Facebook, send us an email. Facebook account is Keep Our Parks and Rec Cape Coral, Florida. Our email is keepourparksandrec@yahoo.com, or you can go on our webpage, which is keepourparksandrec.com. Anytime. We're trying to post updates at least once a week or every 2 weeks. Check it out at least once a week. Thank you for staying engaged with this issue. Your voice definitely matters. God bless.